Tuesday, October 30th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, this is a follow-up video to the Charleston, South Carolina aircraft that went missing last Thursday. They conducted searches Friday and Saturday of the area, covered 3,500 square miles looking for this aircraft that went missing as of right now without a trace. They have not found one single piece of evidence of this aircraft that unfortunately had 5 people on this plane. And I want to say I'm very sorry to anybody that was related to or they were friends of anybody on that plane. That's a very sad situation. We never like to hear stories like this. And unfortunately, there's another story very similar to this that happened down in the southern hemisphere. We're going to get to that here in just a second. But this aircraft was close to, but not in the Bermuda Triangle that's been known to have disappearing ships and airplanes over the years. And if you read some history about the Bermuda Triangle, you'll see that there were some ships that left Charleston, South Carolina over the years, and this goes back, 150 years. But they completely disappeared. No sign of them whatsoever. Here's one here back in 1925 that left Charleston, South Carolina. The SS Cotopaxi departed for Cuba and was never seen again. Airplanes in that area. And this airplane wasn't necessarily close to the Bermuda Triangle. It was close. But anytime we lose 5 people in an aircraft, even one is too many, like I said. So I'm very sorry to everyone that was involved with the loss of family members or friends that were on that aircraft. But the Coast Guard on Sunday called the loss of the small plane that was carrying 5 people when it went down near Charleston a tragic loss. And this story is dated October 28th from the postandcourier.com. And goes on to say the 8-seat airplane that took off in Georgetown County went missing on Thursday morning more than 100 miles off the coast. That's what I was showing you here on Google Earth. This is the approximate area out in here somewhere. And they have what's interesting about this here. They have the exact flight path, and they've searched the exact path that this plane took, even on its way back when it went missing off of radar, and looked for 2 straight days and found absolutely nothing. So this thing literally went missing, just vanished without a trace. To find not even so much as any type of floating debris is a bit mysterious. And they knew exactly where to look. And if you read the article, which I'm going to try to, here we go, right here. They canvassed more than 3,500 square miles of the Atlantic Ocean by the time the effort ended on Saturday night. And the twin-engine Piper PA-31 took off Thursday morning from Robert F. Swinney Airport in Andrews in western Georgetown. It was bound for the Bahamas, but the plane traveled southward. Its occupants reported an in-flight emergency to the air traffic controllers, and it fell off radar before noon southeast of Charleston. For more than 3 days, the Coast Guard used airplanes, helicopters, and ships to look for the plane, but found no signs of this craft anywhere. Not one sign. So it went missing literally without a trace. So sad story out of Charleston. I wanted to do an update on that as we had touched on it earlier. But mysteriously enough, 4 days later, same type of scenario happened down in the southern hemisphere off the coast of Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia. And this was a much bigger airplane, very sad story, carrying 189 passengers. It was a new airplane that, for whatever reasons, also wanted to turn around and return to the airport and didn't make it. This story is dated October 28th. This occurred on, I want to say Monday. Jakarta, Indonesia. A plane carrying 189 people from Jakarta to a smaller Indonesian city crashed into the Java Sea on Monday, prompting hard questions about the safety of the skies over the vast island nation. Minutes after takeoff, with skies clear, weather wasn't a factor in either case. this one here in Indonesia or the incident just off the coast of Charleston, weather was not a factor in either case. Minutes after takeoff, with clear skies and piloting a brand new plane, the crew of Lion Air Flight 610 contacted air traffic controllers and asked permission to return to the airport. So they got out over the sea. I'm going to show you right here. Here we go. They departed here, got out over the sea, and for whatever reasons, they didn't declare an in-flight emergency like the plane did off the coast of Charleston, but they do have similarities. Once it got out over the ocean, it wanted to turn around and come back. The plane off the coast of Charleston did make it part of the way back and then fell off radar, and it was never found since. This plane, unfortunately, did recover many pieces of the aircraft. It was so big. It was a fairly new 737, from what I'm understanding. They requested permission to return, and of course permission was granted, and then we lost contact. It was very quick, maybe around 1 minute. A tugboat crew said they saw the plane crash in Karawang Bay, northeast of Jakarta. The National Search and Rescue Agency said witnesses who saw the plane hurtle into the sea told authorities they had not heard an explosion. Officials appeared to have given up on any hope of survivors. I suspect all the passengers have perished, said Marine Brigadier General Bambang, Director of Operations of the Search and Rescue Mission. By airplane standards, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 that crashed was brand new. It was delivered to Lion Air in August and had flown only about 800 total hours before it went down. The MAX 8 was one of Boeing's fastest-selling entry planes, said Robert Mann, an airline consultant based out of Washington. There are thousands of them on order. A new class of aircraft, the plane entered into service only about 17 months ago, but has quickly become an airline mainstay as carriers like Southwest and American Airlines add them to their fleets to replace the generally older 737s. But that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this one here. This plane here, for whatever reasons, got out over the ocean, wanted to turn around and return, didn't make it, and they did find the aircraft right away because it was so big and there was so much debris. The plane departed Jakarta at 6:21 on Monday. The aviation website Flight Tracker said the flight had been scheduled to arrive in Penang at 7:20, an island off of Sumatra. So, sad story out of Indonesia. Unfortunately, less than 4 days apart from the event that occurred off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. Another airplane incident, and there were no survivors like this one here. No survivors, 5 people, but this plane here has disappeared without a trace. Did not find one single part of the airplane, which is very unusual considering they knew the exact path of the plane. There had to have been parts of the plane in most cases that do float. There are a lot of parts of airplanes that float. And to not find anything, to me, is quite odd, considering they knew the exact flight path of this plane. And they had, like I said, the Coast Guard, they had helicopters, they had airplanes, they covered 3,500 square miles and did not find one single shred of evidence. So a very sad story. Just wanted to do a follow-up on that, guys, because I did touch on that the other day when the story first came out. But they've called off the search, disappeared without a trace. And there is a history in the Bermuda Triangle of incidents similar to this one, even though this plane was not, quote-unquote, in the Bermuda Triangle. But that part of the world has seen its fair share of disappearing ships and disappearing airplanes over the course of our aviation history, which goes back to the 40s. And ships have had incidents going back over 100 years in that area. So it is kind of a hot spot for activity. I don't think this is related, though. However, it did go missing without a trace of anything at all. Same thing happened in Indonesia, but they did find much debris. In fact, that's what they're doing in that picture right there. picking up debris that was littered over many acres from that very large aircraft. Very sad story. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. And as always, be safe out there, guys.